Firstly, hi everyone. My name is Rohan. I'm a fellow composition student at USC, and I'm going to be sort of just kind of help like in the background a little bit, just leading things through, because I know how stressful these can be, and they can get really stressful, especially like if you're juggling as many things as JP is. This is going to be a really incredible show. I can tell you that. A lot of really different types of pieces, a lot of very technical pieces. There's pieces that y'all can participate in, which is going to be really fun, despite this virtual smorgasbord. Yeah. So I'm going to be kind of here helping things along, hosting things, and just vibing out with my main man JP.
And yeah, bear with us with the technology. I think it'll be smooth, but there might be some hiccups. But and if you ever have a problem, like if it just like freezes or something, log out. Should be able to come and log back in just fine. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. I'm seeing people now joining in the chat. Timothy, Noah, Ben, Abby, and Nate, Gwyneth. Hi. I don't know you, but hello.
Cool. So
cool.
you want
Yeah.
to just go through the program?
Yeah,
I
let's
can
talk through the
in
program a
script.
little bit.
Yeah.
While things are
and
just
I
getting
will put it in the chat.
for sure. So yeah, okay. So as I mentioned a little very briefly, tonight's show is going to be a very diverse and eclectic set of pieces, all by JP as part of his doctoral recital. On the first piece on the program is a piece for vibraphone and networked electronics that was performed and recorded using a variety of compression algorithms on the internet that JP sort of repurposed and developed this really beautiful piece. That's going to be followed by a live performance. That's right, live, happening now. It's actually happening, coming from LA, from JP's backyard. Piece for cello. So that's going to be really exciting. Third on the program is one thing I already mentioned, which is the interactive piece, which is sort of kind of a web-based installation that JP has made that y'all can perform together with us, and we're all going to be able to talk through that. We'll talk through the whole thing when that comes up on the program. There's another piece for flute and AI generated bird sounds. That's also very, very beautiful with amazing visuals. And to close off the program, there's a chamber piece centered about the environment that JP wrote. That's going to be also another beautiful work. It's a lot of stuff here, but it's going to be really great. I'm excited to be here sharing it with you all.
Cool.
Yeah.
Why don't I go ahead and introduce the first piece?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, so the first piece is called Compression Study 1. And this is the first in a series of works that use YouTube's interface and algorithms as tools for both performance and composition. So I created these pieces by composing initial sketches and then asking the musicians to record those sketches. And then I uploaded these recordings to YouTube and used YouTube's playback speed and quality features to find new sounds to recompose with. And there are no additional effects added to the sounds. They're all generated by distortions caused by YouTube. And one reason I got into YouTube's time stretching specifically is because unlike the algorithms used for music production software for altering speed, YouTube algorithms are designed for preserving speech rather than for music. So they generate very particular kinds of artifacts. So even though these algorithms that seem trivial, they're not neutral and they have decisions baked into them that shape our perceptions. And in this video, we'll see a performance by Sidney Hopson, and it was recorded and edited by Tyler Eschendal, and the original vibraphone samples were recorded by Dan Reifsteck. And you should have that information in the program in the chat. But I'm going to mute myself now, and we'll listen to the first piece. All right.
Woo! Hey, heck yeah. That was gorgeous. So beautiful, man. And
Thanks.
I have like, actually what's so interesting too. And yeah, feel free, by the way, if you have thoughts and comments or questions, we can throw it in the chat and we can try to, if we have some time, we can integrate that in too. But so many things are so interesting about this, especially when you also consider the fact that you're presenting a piece that centers compression, and there's also the compression of the zoom. It's also like filtering that. So
Yeah.
you're kind of getting this really weirdly, there is this kind of fundamental digitality that also feels really intimate too. It's almost like there's um, the computer and the algorithm is this one thing that's very acidic, kind of above the surface. And then there's this really fundamental intimacy with that, which I think is what these algorithms are at the end of the day. Like we spend so much time with them, whether we know it or not. That's so powerful. And then when you layer the fact that we're on Zoom, it's even more like striking.
You start to notice it more and more at like since I've been living in that world for like the last 2 years of like slowing down YouTube videos all the time for like hours and hours a day. You start to notice how, like, oh, like Zoom's doing something really cool with the audio right now.
Right.
I kind of wish, Zoom had just like a really quick, like, I mean, it does has a record feature, but it doesn't always,
it doesn't have the same kind of treatment. But in any case, like I think both things combined, there's like this almost sort of there's just kind of something very tragic about it in a way, because there's something really human. And then it's like that's interacting with the algorithm, but the algorithm also is like over the whole thing, like a giant blanket.
Can't escape it.
Can't escape it. The algorithm's all around us. Yeah, so gorgeous, so gorgeous. Why don't we? I think we want to cut to our live piece.
Yeah,
because both of the performers are here waiting. Next piece is going to be live. We've been spending a lot of time in online environments, as we all know. So we hope that a piece like this can help you connect a little bit with the space. There's Zack popping up. And there's going to be, you might hear some sounds of birds, helicopters, other things, planes, dogs. Yeah, dogs barking. That's fine. We're here for that. That's part of the vibe. JP, do you want to tell us a little bit about Balance Piece?
Yeah. Zack, who's playing this piece, commissioned it from me a few years ago. And I wrote it for him specifically and for his energy as a performer. And I wanted to write something that really brought that energy out, but also kind of challenged traditional notions of virtuosity. So not just thinking about speed and precision and control. So rather than having a lot of fast scales and arpeggios, the piece asked Zack to very subtly vary the amount of pressure applied in his left hand, making the cello alternate between pure tones and harmonics, or sometimes getting both simultaneously. I'm very excited that Zack is playing this in my yard. It's my first live music in a long time, and I'm happy to share it with my neighbors who are back there. So cool. I'm gonna mute my video. Zack's needs to unmute. Yeah. And then we need to bring up Maya. Oh, and we're just trying to bring you to the place, and there'll be some scenery as well. So let's unmute Maya's video.
Is my sound coming through?
Yeah.
Sound's coming through. Woo! All right. Wow. That's something else. I can only imagine how like cool you must be feeling. It must feel right now to see that live.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
so
nice.
jealous.
It was nice. It's I've missed it. Yeah.
This is the first thing. This is the first piece you've seen in person since the beginning of the pandemic. Wow.
I mean, I think I saw some neighbors play guitar across the street, so I guess that counts as my first performance that I've been to
Sure,
live,
but
yeah.
like,
but not.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I mean, yeah, wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
You know, also I was going to mention, because Yoshi said something in the chat that I thought was really interesting too, which is like it feels like there's two Zacks at the same time, which is like kind of cool, just based on the way you wrote the piece. And then eventually when Maya like pulled up on Zack again,
totally
I was like, whoa, like it all came full circle. But yeah, so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, when he gets like in there, you can really make like sometimes like you get the open string, the harmonic, like, and the stop tone, like they're all kind of ringing together. So yeah, it's kind of
it's beautiful.
Nice.
So good.
Cool. We should.
I can also add that I learned things about the cello that I didn't know were capable until JP wrote them. So
it'd be like that. It'd be like that, yo. Like for real. You know, JP, yeah, like gotta teach me your ways, man. Seriously.
Right. Like just you have to have a half broken viola and make scratchy sounds on it for a long time. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thanks so much, Zach. That was so killing.
You, Zach.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Let's see here. So for the next piece, this next piece is a fun one because y'all can participate. So I'm gonna drop the link to participate and we're gonna quickly go through the process. So you don't have to participate. I'll just say that. It's totally up to you whether you'd like to participate or not. To join, you will not need to turn on your camera, but you will need to turn on your microphone. Couple things just before you volunteer. You will need to know where your computer microphone is. You can kind of Google that based on the computer you have. I have a newish Mac from 2019. For me, it's like on the top left corner of the keyboard. But again, depends on what computer you have. You will need to be able to reach your computer with your hands. You will need to disconnect headphones. So you're on just your external speakers. And
the laptop speakers, just the laptop speakers.
Yes,
or desktop speakers. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Laptop or desktop speakers. And you'll need to follow a short set of written instructions, which will be displayed on screen. JP will be guiding us through this process together.
It's very easy. So if you would like to volunteer, say so in the chat and we'll start moving you over to the panelist side. I'm going to play a short little video that describes what we're doing here. We're basically making a feedback machine out of our computers, and we're all going to feedback together. And the piece is called Response System. And just thinking about how there's like very little opportunity for response in this Zoom environment. We have the chat, but this is yet another way we could try to do that. So I'm going to play this video. Rohan, can you mute your stuff? Okay. Hey there. So this piece is played with a tool that turns your computer into a feedback machine. So video conferencing platforms like Zoom use different algorithms to prevent audio feedback, but we will be working in a browser outside of Zoom's control. First, you will need to identify where your computer microphone is. On recent Apple laptops, your microphone is usually on the left side, either inside your left speaker or next to the headphone jack. On many PC laptops, they're near the camera. If you're using a desktop or don't know where your microphone is, take a moment to Google it. The feedback machine has 3 simple controls that we'll review now. The first is the on-off button at the top, which turns your laptop microphone on. The first time you turn it on, you'll have to click Allow to give the tool microphone permissions. No audio is being recorded or stored. The second control is the interference volume. This increases the volume of a sine wave, which is a simple tone, into the feedback loop, which can interfere with the sound in interesting ways. You can control the volume of the tone by moving the slider up and down. The pitch of the tone can be controlled with the 4 buttons below. Different pitches can make different interference effects. To make the computer feedback, you will need to bring your fingers together and cup your hand slightly. Move your hand very close to your computer microphone, nearly touching it. You can experiment with the distance or shape of your hand, and it may take some finessing to get the motion right. At one point in the piece, I'll ask you to move your hand back and forth, something like this, which also has an effect on the sound. There will be a score with simple written instructions for you to follow, but know that the tool is somewhat unpredictable and the piece embraces this, so don't worry too much about getting it right. Okay, we've got some folks.
Wow.
So if you still want to, if there's still anyone else left out there who wants to join, Rohan will move you over. So let me share the score and make sure you pull up that link. So so yeah, let's go. Oop. Okay. So just a few more things about setup, just to make sure while everyone's getting oriented. Reminder to unplug or disconnect your headphones. Turn your computer volume all the way up. Just a warning that it can get loud, but it won't get so loud that it it'll be fine. But you know your computer best, but it works better at a louder volume. And then you'll need to unmute your Zoom audio. Click the link in the chat if you haven't already. Now arrange your windows so that you can see both the browser and my screen sharing here. We're already getting some stuff. Good. And then you can click on and allow permissions for the feedback. Okay.
Okay.
Is anyone?
Y'all can start to unmute.
All right, here we go.
There's going to be a score over here.
Wow.
Whoa.
That was something. There's some really like, aside from like a few really strong harsh moments, there were some really beautiful, just like dulcet tones that just kind of like underscored the whole thing. Is wow, that was so fun. I want to do that again.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to say, shout out to Willie Payne, who is here participating, and he helped me make all that web audio stuff. He was super at doing that. Thank you, Willie. Yeah, I had only tested this like with my parents with like two or three devices, and had not done that with this many folks. So that was really cool. Worked out well. Yeah, I think someone opened the additional controls a little early and turned up that filter, so we got all those high sounds.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just moving everyone back to the attendee. Sorry, you're all being demoted. Good work, though. We appreciate your service.
Yeah, thank you all so much for participating.
All right, let's keep moving forward.
Yeah.
This next piece is another great one. One of my favorites on the program for sure. It's a collaboration between JP and Maya Livio. So let me hand it over to Maya. Maya is a researcher, curator, and media maker who works at various overlaps between the environment, technology, and justice. And the work that you're about to hear is part of a larger collaborative project. So Maya here?
So I'm going to share a video because she's enjoying the concert. So
okay,
she
great.
made a little video. So let's mute our videos.
Hi everyone, I'm Maya Livio, and the piece that you're about to hear was written for my project called Salvaging Birds. The project is about the logics of environmental data and about how, although that data can be useful, it also mirrors some of the same problems that we identify in human data, such as bias and the illusions of control over systemic problems. Specifically, the project looks at the data that's collected about birds, such as biological specimens and recordings of birdsong. So for example, research has demonstrated that birdsong datasets, like many other datasets, contain male biases, and they have very little female and intersex birdsong in them. When I learned this, I began to wonder about all of the canonical classical music that was inspired by birds, and whether it was also based primarily on male birdsong. In my research, I found that it seems to have been. For example, many of these pieces reference birds like the cuckoo and the nightingale, who are known for their male song. So for this piece, JP and our collaborator Raymond Finzel and I worked to collect some data sets. And those include, for example, birds who are less represented in bird data, as well as much of the classical music that references birdsong. We then trained an AI on each of these data sets, and the piece that you're about to hear uses some of what that AI generated as sonic material, alongside flute played by Yoshi Weinberg. It's important to note here that the researchers who built the AI model that we used themselves calibrated that model on a biased data set. And the model seems to favor particular sounds or pitches, and it glitches and gets stuck on those. So JP included these deliberately in the piece to gesture towards the flaws even within data sets surrounding technologies like AI. And all the sounds aside from flute that you'll hear were generated by the AI. There were no additional effects placed on them. So this piece, alongside with some samples generated by the AI and an essay that I wrote, as well as a game produced by our collaborator, Cassie McQuater, will all be released together soon. And tonight, you'll see a recording of Yoshi playing alongside a playthrough of Cassie's game. So that's it, and I hope you enjoy Salvaging Birds.
Alrighty.
Woo! So good. Also, Yoshi. Props to Yoshi. Absolutely crushing that. I think Yoshi, Yoshi's here.
Yeah. Thank you, Yoshi.
Mad props.
Pro.
Yeah, wow. I mean, dang, like there's so much varied content in this recital. I've kind of like, I feel like I've disassociated and reassociated back to reality, like in different ways. It's kind of cool. Like I'm having like a cool existential moment.
You're like lost in the computer or something.
Yeah, I'm like lost, but then also like I feel like I'm lost, but then also kind of falling in love with my laptop. Like, in a weird way. I feel really emotionally connected, and tender. I feel like this next one, you got to be careful with this next one because it could either break my heart or make me a very happy man. Yeah, wow. So I guess now we're reaching about the end of the show. I'll just say very quickly, first of all, JP, congratulations on such an epic concert. And thank you for having me here just to even just talk and chill and hang. It's so cool, and the pieces are fantastic, and you have such a cool artistic voice. So, and to everyone who came through today in the Zoom, thanks for pulling up.
Yeah,
I don't know everyone here. I know there's a couple names I recognize, but for those that I don't know, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for coming and vibing out with us.
Yeah, there's people from high school. Hey, Ben. There's people from college. Oh, yeah, Dylan's from high school. Hey, Dylan, just shouting out. Got a USC crew here. My best friend, Paul. A couple collaborators in there. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Wow, just some deep cuts.
Yeah.
Deep cuts pulling up. That's great. Yeah, we have one more, Chantal. Don't worry. We're gonna hit that. We're gonna hit it.
We're gonna do a little like Zoom hang afterwards. We'll put that link in the chat at the end of the piece. It's a different Zoom room. We're gonna keep it short because I need to eat dinner.
Yeah.
But if you want to just say hi, we'll do that after this last piece. So
amazing. So I guess without further ado.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say a few words about this.
Yes, please, please.
So yeah, so this last piece is called phenology, and so it's performed and commissioned by the Els trio, and they're a trio of musicians based in my home state of Wisconsin, and they've been working on commissioning a commissioning project where they've asked folks to write work about the environment. And my work has already been dealing with that, so it really fit with what they were trying to do. And this piece is called phenology. That's phenology, which is the study of cyclical and seasonal phenomenon. So things like when plants germinate or bloom, or when caterpillars are born, all of these are within the field of phenology. And so these cycles and timings have become increasingly disrupted by the climate crisis, so that the rhythms of different species are now out of sync. And so this piece is an examination of cycles and kind of plays with a continuous shift from synchronicity and asynchronicity. And it requires a lot of communication between the trio. And I also wanted to see how much variety I could get out of a cyclical pattern. So there is a wide variety of sounds. You'll see Ben, the pianist, going into the piano and plucking the strings, or Zoe, the bassist, switching between bow and pizzicato frequently. Nolan is moving all across his percussion setup with different mallets and a bow. And the piece was originally written to be performed live, obviously, and in person, but I'm glad they were able to get together and safely record a performance of this. And given that this online world functions a little differently, I'm doing it here as kind of a desktop performance where I've overlaid some archival footage on top of their performance. So without further ado, phenology. My neighbors are back there, and every time I can hear them wailing. So that's fun.
Woo! Young doctor.
It's happening.
Oh yeah, baby. That was dang, so cool. So good. Congrats, man. Congrats on such a great show. Everybody come through to this. I'm gonna drop the Zoom meeting.
You've got it.
Come through and just yell at JP for such a fucking dope show.
Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you to all of my amazing collaborators. Thank you to Rohan for hosting. Thank you to my neighbors for lending various things, and for my family for having stuff being tested on them, and to Maya, who's had to deal with a lot of things and has really helped make this happen. So yes, thank you all.
Killing. We'll see you there.
Yeah,
we'll see you at the other call.
You got it in the. Okay, I see it. Okay, thank you, everyone. Bye.